Hello guys, welcome back. So, a little return to seriousness, a little return to work. We were watching the news, and I know I said take a break from the news, and you should. And the station I was watching, channel I was watching on YouTube, had the front page of, I believe, Wall Street Journal that published all the names of the deceased and, where they came from, what their job was, and if you lived for September 11th and you heard about some of the first responders, that really hit you hard. That really hit you hard because I remember how frightening and confusing that was, and I've told you all the experience of going to college at that time, and you would hear this roaring sound, and you would look up, and the Apache Blackhawks would be doing the daily patrol over college campuses because they didn't know where the next attack was coming. What were they going to do? Were they going to put stuff in our water supply? It was a very frightening time to live through because you didn't know. You can look back and go, well, it was just one event. You didn't know that at the time. Nobody knew that. And so she broke down. And she's trying to keep it together and not cry because she's the one woman, so she gotta be tough like the guys, and she's trying not to cry and not quite making it, and she cried, not cried. So, but we have to do that. And going forward, and I talked about with Loki, and Loki and Odin both have been kind of pushing me to do a video like this. And I'm in no way a good representative to do this, but, we unfortunately don't have too many world leaders that are going to do this right now. As we're going forward with our lives and going through this pandemic, we're going to have a lot of times where we're happy and we're enjoying ourselves, and we get away for a few brief blessed hours, and we can put aside all the worries and the cares of our own life, and globally as well. And then something brings us back down, and maybe you have a good cry, and that's okay. I've been enjoying the hell out of myself today. It's been like the first real vacation I've had in like over a decade. And it's been a stay-home vacation, but I'm very fucking thankful to have this because not everyone has a home. Not everyone has food right now. Not everyone has working utilities. I'm fucking thankful for what I have. Probably shouldn't be swearing so much in a speech, but you know what I mean. It's not a speech. We're talking together. And we know we've been undercounting. We have over 100,000 souls lost in this country alone, over 300,000 globally. And again, most people feel that is a huge undercount, that either the deaths have far surpassed the ability to count, which we can't wrap our head around, but it's just they're trying to get them in the ground as fast as they can. It sounds gruesome. It's terrible for people in our day and age with our sensibilities to see mass graves and to see, bodies being held in places that remind someone my age of, pictures of Auschwitz is what it reminds you of. And it's very heartbreaking, but this is something we're all going through together globally. I think we forget sometimes, and we kind of partition ourselves up like, this is just American problem. And well, my state has it worse than yours, and oh yeah, well, my county has it worse than yours. And we have to kind of let go of that. We all have our personal pain, but we have a pain globally as well. And I think one thing we do owe those that have passed is to do better, to find a cure, to keep up the social distancing, and to keep our spirits up. And I know it's a delicate balance between enjoying ourselves and taking a special day or a special few hours for ourselves and trying not to feel terribly guilty after, and mourning and reflecting on that and reflecting on our own futures. But we can find that balance. We might not always do it perfectly, but I trust none of you went out and golfed today. I went to mini golf, but I stayed home for that shit. Yeah, I trust most of you were out golfing today with Trump. Shade. And again, cheering back. He's like, she's back, yes! And it is going to be a delicate balance, and we are going to have some scary times ahead. I'm not predicting anything from the gods. Going through September 11th was both a blessing and a curse. It was the most fucking terrifying thing anyone had gone through up until this time. And as time went on and you younger people came and you didn't know what it was like to live through it, we older people sometimes got exasperated and then we kind of forgot too. But this has really brought it home to us to see first responders that made it this far, because fortunately we lost a lot of them over the years from, the inhaling what they did from the rubble. To see them lose to coronavirus just kind of pisses you off. It makes you want to cry at the same time, but we will get through this, That's why we're wearing masks. That's why we're social distancing. That's why, we want to go out and we want to do all the things we want to do, and we kind of can feel sorry for ourselves at times because maybe we have a special day or we have a special holiday and we resent having to stay in, but we have to remember that's why we're staying in. We're staying in so these numbers aren't 10 times worse. We're staying in when we can. Don't be afraid to go to work. If you have to go to work, just do your social distancing, wear your mask, clean your hands often. We've been, through this, guys. But we're staying at home and we're making these tiny sacrifices so the numbers don't get exceptionally, exponentially worse. So just kind of remember, guys, I know it's hard. And it's okay to have happy times. You're not, it's called survivor's guilt. You're allowed to have happy times. I think if the people that have passed would want anything, they would want for you to enjoy the life that you're getting to live, that, unfortunately they're no longer with us. And it's okay to have sad times. It's okay to start crying and bawling because somebody you never even met died and you saw their name and you saw their picture. That's the human in you. 1 second, guys. Sorry, I hate to cry on camera, but they asked if I'd do this. I was like, no, I'll cry. And they were like, well, maybe you should. That's the human in us. That's why we cry. That's why we see stuff about the terrible stuff that's still going on top of this. And we sit down some days and we have a good cry because it's human to want to help each other. It's why we run homeless shelters. It's why we have food banks. It's why we have animal shelters. It's why most human beings, despite our flaws, try to do the right thing. We do. We all fall short. Quite a lot of times, but we all do the right thing. And, props to them for making it through that. Props to the news channels that have had people on, that have had reverends on, that, they actually know their Bible, and they will say that Jesus told you, and this is true for all you Christians perking out your ears, to pray in private, to pray in your homes, to pray in your own private secreted closet. You don't have to go stand on street corners, as was the practice at the time, or go to the synagogue or make a big show, because, in Jesus' mind, whether you saw him as a wise man or a demigod or a god, that was your reward. All that attention you were getting on earth for putting on that big show, that was your reward. You weren't going to get a reward in heaven. That God would hear you no matter where you are. So, we have to remember that too as pagans. We might not be going to Circle anytime soon, maybe never. Circle might be in a bunker underground. I'm kidding. It's gonna get better, but our gods can hear us. We don't need to be able to go to a temple. We don't need to be able to do something together as a community, person to person. And, with the way pagans get along, maybe that's just as well. But, I wanted to remind you guys that, it's okay to be overwhelmed and not be able to grasp the numbers. It's okay. 100,000, 300,000, those are just numbers that we can't grasp it, They've done a lot of good on a lot of channels showing you how many planes full of people this would be, as grim and horrible as this is, and doing other statistics, but it's really impossible to grasp. And the best thing I could think of is when we used to go to Gettysburg all the time. There was this one museum, I don't even know if it's there anymore, and probably certainly not open, but you would go into this black kind of plastic tunnel. It was like a box, but it was a tunnel. It was a huge room. and they would start playing this thing and it would talk to you, and each person, there was like an outline of a person would light up, was a soldier that died in that war. And it would start out as one and it would spread up until the whole entire room lit up, and we're far beyond that number, and it's something we can't grasp. But it's okay to have sad days. It's okay to still have days where you're celebrating things. Maybe you got a job, maybe it's a holiday for you, maybe it's a special day in your life, anniversary, something good like that. It's okay to find a balance. And so, I don't ever want you guys to feel guilty about taking your special days. You're not doing it in defiance of what's happening. You're good human beings. And it's okay to have days where burst into tears and you just can't deal. It's okay to have both on the same day. And it's also okay to get pissed off and go do whatever it is that you do to safely get the angries out. So, I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. I really wanted to save this speech to maybe never, because I don't always do well with emotions. Geminis kind of hide in the corner from emotions. We're highly emotional people, but we deal really badly with admitting to our own emotions. That and aging, those are two kryptonites right there. But, I hope you guys are having a good one. Stay safe. Just, practice safety procedures if you have to leave the house. And we're going to get through this. We'll pull each other through this, even though it's seemingly a lot of bad in the world and a lot of crazy and destruction running around. There's a lot more good. We have gods like Loki rising to, take up the slack and to lead us through. I saw a wonderful article on Haiti that the Voodoo Law are coming through, and they're saying, well, we know we're never going to get any aid, so, they're making recommendations to the Ugans and Mambos of, well, this is the best we got here. You mix these plants together and at least we can treat the symptoms. They're practical. My mambo that did my my reading told me to work it like a Haitian sometimes. We're not always going to have, most of us are lucky. We have everything we need. We have our utilities, we have food, we have that. If we don't have these things, we are lucky to live in a country where we can go, hey, I'm hungry, I need to go to a food bank. My electricity got cut off, I need to go get assistance. We're lucky, we're very blessed to live in a country like that. So, just count your blessings, guys, in this Memorial Day weekend. Take a moment to remember those we've lost, both warriors and, the civilians we've lost worldwide. Maybe it'll be more of a global thing this year. Hopefully we'll come together and we'll get through this. So, if you guys like what you see, other than the crying parts, because I hate to cry on camera, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.